Randy Rhoads was born on December 6, 1956, in Santa Monica, California, into a family that seemed destined for music. His parents, William and Dolores Rhoads, divorced when Randy was still a young child, and his mother became a central figure in his life. Dolores, or Dee as everyone called her, was a classically trained musician who operated the Musonia School of Music in North Hollywood. This was where Randy's passion for music began and where his identity as a guitarist was shaped. Growing up in a musical household gave Randy a sense of direction early in life. He wasn't just a casual learner. From a young age, he demonstrated an almost obsessive dedication to mastering the guitar. Randy was the youngest of three siblings, with an older brother, Kella, and a sister, Kathy. Kelly played drums, and the two brothers often jammed together as kids. Randy started on guitar at around 6 years old. His early influences included classic rock acts like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and later heavier bands like Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple. But unlike many rock guitarists, Randy was also deeply fascinated by classical music. This fusion of rock and classical styles would later become his signature and revolutionize the sound of heavy metal. By the time Randy was a teenager, his talent was undeniable. He began giving guitar lessons at his mother's music school, teaching kids not much younger than himself. He had a knack for breaking down complex concepts and helping students understand theory, something rare in the rock scene of the 1970s. His friends often recalled that he never went anywhere without a guitar. Even during quiet moments, Randy practiced scales and riffs, striving for perfection. In the mid-1970s, Randy co-founded a band called Quiet Riot with his close friend Kelly Garney. They became a staple of the Los Angeles rock scene, playing in clubs along the Sunset Strip and building a loyal following. Quiet Riot was one of the first hard rock bands to make waves in that era, but the U.S. music industry was not yet ready for their sound. While they managed to release 2 albums in Japan, they struggled to secure an American record deal. Randy, however, quickly became known as one of the most technically skilled guitarists in the local scene. His image with polka-dotted guitars and flashy stage outfits added to his growing mystique. Despite the struggles with Quiet Riot, Randy's life changed forever in 1979. Ozzy Osbourne, who had recently been fired from Black Sabbath and was spiraling into addiction and depression, was looking to start a solo career. He needed a guitarist who could not only play but inspire him to create again. At the insistence of mutual friends, Randy auditioned for Ozzy. Legend has it that Randy barely played anything during the audition. He just warmed up on his guitar, and Ozzy was floored. He later admitted that hearing Randy was like seeing a light at the end of a very dark tunnel. That audition was the beginning of one of the most influential partnerships in rock history. Randy quickly flew to England to join Ozzy in forming what would become the Blizzard of Oz band. They started working on material that combined heavy metal riffs with melodic, almost classical flourishes. The result was Blizzard of Oz, released in 1980, an album that completely changed the trajectory of Ozzy's career and, in many ways, heavy metal itself. Tracks like Crazy Train, with its instantly recognizable riff, and Mr. Crowley, with its haunting keyboard intro and soaring guitar solos, showcased Randy's brilliance. His ability to blend aggressive tones with melodic phrasing set him apart from his peers. Critics and fans alike hailed him as a prodigy. The success of Blizzard of Oz was followed by Diary of a Madman in 1981. This album further cemented Randy's status as a virtuoso. Songs like Flying High Again and the title track became classics. Randy wasn't just a guitarist, he was a composer. He arranged solos and riffs with precision, bringing a sophistication that elevated Ozzy's music to a whole new level. In a genre often associated with chaos and rebellion, Randy introduced discipline and artistry without losing any of the raw energy that defined metal. Despite his growing fame, Randy remained humble and focused on his craft. Unlike many rock stars of his era, he avoided drugs and heavy drinking, preferring to spend his downtime practicing or studying music. He often spoke about his desire to study classical guitar formally, and even considered leaving the touring life to enroll in a university music program. This side of Randy, the disciplined musician with dreams beyond the stage, made his story all the more compelling. By early 1982, the Blizzard of Oz band was on the Diary of a Madman tour in the United States. The tour was a massive success, drawing huge crowds and solidifying Ozzy's comeback. But behind the scenes, Randy was feeling burnt out from the constant traveling and the pressures of fame. He had begun discussing with friends and family his plan to step away from touring after fulfilling his obligations. He wanted to focus on classical guitar and become a music teacher, perhaps even opening his own school like his mother's. Tragically, those dreams would never come true. On March 19, 1982, the band was traveling through Leesburg, Florida, on a tour bus when they stopped at a small airstrip for repairs. While the rest of the band slept on the bus, the driver, Andrew Aycock, who also had a pilot's license but a history of reckless behavior, decided to take a small plane for a joyride. He invited Randy and makeup artist Rachel Youngblood to join him. For reasons still unclear, Aycock began buzzing the tour bus in a dangerous stunt. On the third pass, the plane's wing clipped the bus, sending it spiraling into a nearby house. The plane exploded on impact, killing all 3 passengers instantly. Randy Rhoads was just 25 years old. The news of Randy's death sent shockwaves through the music world. Ozzy Osbourne was devastated. He later said that losing Randy was the greatest tragedy of his life, admitting he never fully recovered from the loss. Randy had not only revived Ozzy's career, but had become like family to him. The two shared a bond built on mutual respect and a love of music. For Ozzy, Randy wasn't just a guitarist. He was a lifeline during his darkest days. In the years that followed, tributes poured in from fans, fellow musicians, and critics. In 1987, Ozzy released a live album titled Tribute, dedicated to Randy, featuring some of his greatest performances. Guitar magazines hailed him as one of the greatest guitarists of all time, a title he still holds today despite his brief career. His influence can be heard in countless guitarists who cite him as an inspiration, from Zakk Wylde to modern metal virtuosos. His unique blend of classical and metal elements paved the way for new subgenres and changed the way guitar was approached in rock music. Randy's legacy is also immortalized through his iconic guitars, especially the polka dot Flying V that became synonymous with his image. Jackson Guitars even created signature models in his honor, ensuring that his name and style continue to inspire future generations. In 2021, Randy was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the Musical Excellence Award, a long overdue recognition of his contribution to music. What makes Randy's story so compelling is not just his talent, but the sense of what could have been. At 25, he had already achieved what most musicians could only dream of, yet he was still just scratching the surface of his potential. Friends and family believed that if he had lived, he would have become one of the greatest musicians of all time, not just in rock, but across genres. His humility, dedication, and passion for music were unmatched. Today, decades after his death, Randy Rhoads remains a legend. His solos on songs like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley are still studied by aspiring guitarists. His name appears on every list of the greatest guitar players in history. More importantly, his story continues to move people, not only because of the brilliance of his music, but because of the reminder that life, no matter how bright, can be tragically short. Randy's time on earth was brief, but his impact was eternal. Through his recordings, his students, and the generations of musicians he inspired, Randy Rhoads will never be forgotten. His legacy lives on every time someone picks up a guitar and dares to dream big.